I want to talk about how the identity level activation works. Because I'm seeing this over and over again, and I feel like there is a huge gap in the manifestation space. And I really want to close it today where you understand that operating on the frequency of money is not about just visualizing, affirming, feeling high vibe, or even just using those tools and stuff. It's a DNA level activation, it's the identity level activation. There is a difference between becoming and being. There is a difference between trying to feel that and being there. And it is so much easier than we think. And I just feel like we're missing a very, very obvious thing. I want to talk about that. When it comes to manifestation, we are constantly manifesting our thoughts, our feelings, because our thoughts are translating into our feelings and they are translating into action. So they are not separate. They are all combined. Our thinking converting into feeling, into actions, and our thoughts are also sending out an electromagnetic signature to the quantum, and based on that electromagnetic signature, we are attracting. Now, the problem with just visualizing, affirming, using these tools is that they are not permanent, because at any given time, you have an electromagnetic signature and you are on autopilot, thinking, feeling, and being a certain way. Now, when it comes to employing the meditation tools, going into visualization, meditation, they work really well, but that's not permanent, because life starts after the meditation mat, after you get off the meditation mat. The key is, what is identity level activation? That's what we really want to talk about. Identity level activation means that we are shifting our truth. So not shifting who we really are, but shifting how we see ourselves and shifting what we thought is our truth versus what is actually our truth. Let's use it with examples so we really understand. When you're saying, I would love to manifest a very successful business, right? But you cannot see it right now, right? And the first instinct that we have is, how can we do that? How can I get there? How shall I do that? What should be the strategy? What is the first thing I should do? Then we start looking at other people. How are they doing it? We get in the loop of how, right? Now, the problem is, let's say you take a strategy course, you take a program, you learn the strategy. But deep down, you don't believe and you don't see yourself as that person for whom that strategy will work. Even though I see a lot of courses cover the mindset piece, they say you have to believe, you have to really feel and all of that. But a lot of times this part is massively ignored, which is 95%. Because if you don't believe at a cellular level, if you don't believe with every fiber of your being, you just don't see it 100%, like you know tomorrow it's going to be sun, it's going to be morning, you know for sure that it's going to be night, it's going to be evening, then it's going to be night. So until you know, it's not at your body level. So not only believe, but right, until you have that, you are not a match, you're not going to have that result. And what I see often is that it's like we are trying to fight the effect. We are trying to fight what we see in the mirror, but we are not changing the cause, which is our consciousness, which is our knowing, which is what we think is true about ourselves, about our success, about our identity. And we are just fighting the effect, right? When you are doing that, ask yourself this question. If this thing is not working for me, or if I'm not where I want to be, do I really know and have unwavering belief, right? And faith that this thing gets to work for me? And probably the answer is no. You want to believe. But this is where the most critical part comes, because you might be thinking that, oh, I understand that I have to have that kind of faith, but how do I do that? Because I don't seem to have it. How do I have that kind of belief? How do I have that kind of unwavering faith? And the answer is, you won't have it in the first place, in the first instance. You won't have that kind of unwavering faith. In fact, if you're starting something and you think you can do it, I would love for you to increase the goal, increase your frequency, because it's not big enough. It's not exciting enough because you already believe you can do it. The first place where most people sabotage themselves is, oh my God, I don't believe it. I know I should be believing that. And we almost make it believing part. Some people can have it and some people can't. Like, it's not a matter of luck or chance. Believing is a science, and you can crack that, right? When you're saying, I don't believe that, perfect. You have chosen the right goal for yourself. Now let's crack the believing part. And if you believe that, change a goal, increase the goal to the point where you don't believe that. Not believing is great. That's a criteria to choose anything. Let's not use it to self-sabotage. Now, when you're saying, I don't believe that, now let's crack the believing. In order to understand the believing, the first thing you want to understand is that our eyes can only see 0.0035% of the reality. So our eyes can only see 0.0035% of the reality. According to the scientist, I've got his name here. His name, David Eaglesman. David Eaglesman, he has done this whole research of the different waves of light and different electromagnetic frequencies. And based on that, in reality, we can only see 0.0035%. What it means is that whatever you're seeing in your imagination, whatever you desire right now, it already exists. The only thing is you cannot see it from your eyes, right? So because you're only seeing it 0.0035, when you already, like what you're seeing in your mind, it has to exist. There is nothing that you, your neighbor's neighbor, or anybody can ever imagine or feel that doesn't exist in the quantum, that doesn't exist in the total reality, in the total perspective of the reality, because remember, we only see 0.0035. The first thing is that is true, that is available. That is the first thing. That is the first thing to really crack, that is true and that is available. Now, the second thing, which is really, really important, is understanding that is available to you. And this actually completely changes the way you see money, because money is available to you. Money, all the money there ever is, there ever will be, there ever exists, is available to you right now in infinite quantities. The only thing is that it exists in our reality. It exists in our 100% reality as well. And we can only see 0.0035%. But now we have to shift our consciousness, what we are conscious of being, what we accept to be true, at an identity level activation, not trying to get there, not trying to be, not trying. I'm trying to feel good. I'm trying to visualize. I do that in the morning. I see it so much that we have these visions, but we are not shifting as a person. We are not having that internal cellular level shift. Our electromagnetic signature is not changing, but intellectually we are learning so much about meditation, about manifestation. And I even had this YouTube video that stop watching YouTube videos, although I have my channel myself. But what I'm trying to say is, stop trying to gather so much information at a conscious level and start to have that identity level activation. And identity level activation means, what is your truth? You start to question your truth. What is my truth? What is true for me? What am I conscious of being? Let me give you an example. You want to have a very successful business. You want to have your dream clients who are paying you what you really want to charge. They're getting the benefit. They're improving. Your business is blooming and it's going word of mouth and your marketing is working and everything. But do you really believe and do you really see yourself as a person who's running that business? Do you really believe right now that is your truth? And if the answer is no, then I would go in cracking the believing part and identity level activation. Why not? The question is, why not? Oh, because I can't see it in the physical. But you can only see 0.0035%. So you are choosing 0.0035% of the reality. What about the rest, like 99.9975? I don't know if I'm doing the right, or 999965, right? So what about that percent, right? What you're saying is, why not? Why not? I can feel like that person right now. Oh, because I think I'm not really good at communicating. Again, according to who you're not good at communicating? According to who? According to who your message doesn't have power? According to who you are not successful right now? According to who you don't see yourself running that business right now? According to who you are limited in any way? When we talk about the acting in assumption, I don't like the word acting in assumption. I like the word acting in truth, because that is your truth. And the problem is not who you think you are. The problem is who you think you are not. If you are thinking, I'm not that, I'm not that, I'm not that, that is a lie. That is faking it, because you actually are. I found a way to really crack that for myself. And what I did was I started to question. I would go in the rabbit hole and I would ask myself, I don't consider myself good at selling. Interesting. Why not? I would ask myself constant questions. Oh, because I don't think I can sell well. The way I cracked it. Oh, why do I think I cannot sell well? Because selling is about getting people to sign up. Is it really about that? No. Selling is about, what is the true definition of selling? What is really selling could be, oh, all the things that people are buying around me, let's say the things that people are using, actually making their life easier. Actually, selling is helping people go where they want to go. According to who, I'm not good at helping people go where they want to go. Oh, I really want to do that. I want to help people. Why do I think I'm not good at that? If it lights me up at a soul level. Oh, it is about other people, not about me. It's about other people. It is about really using my gifts and talents and recognizing that I can help people go where they want to go, and it's about them. That's nice. I like that. Oh, let's say you have this thing, I'm not good with money. According to who? Oh, because in my childhood, there wasn't enough money. So that was your childhood. You were not earning money at that time. But you had an experience of not having a lot of money. Does that define your truth? No. Is there a lot of money? Yes. Then what I did was I started looking for proofs all around me. People earning so much money. I started meeting those people. I started researching about those people. I started researching what they think, what they believe, how they are approaching life. You are actually not going for fake it till you make it. You are going for, what is my truth? What is true? You are in search for truth. You are not in search for, I have all this crap which I've been told about myself, about my success, about my life, and now I am forcing myself to not think in alignment with that and think different. But it's there. You can't ignore it. But the key is to question it. One thing that Bob Proctor shared, which is really powerful, he researched on this idea of believing for 9 years before he could really figure out. And once he was having a conversation with a psychologist, and he said something and it clicked, and I was like, oh, I get it. Believing means re-evaluating an idea over a period of time. You are re-evaluating, you are questioning something that is true. Something that you have been told a lie, but it's not true. And what is your truth? You are actually uncovering your truth. You are like that FBI person. Tell me the truth. Show me the truth. And the truth is, you are born rich. Like Bob Proctor said, you are born rich. That is the only truth. You have got all the money available to you at all times. Right? The key is to allowing yourself to see that right now, because understanding that you can only see 0.0035%. What is not visible to you, you start to see it. You start to acknowledge it. You start to become aware of it. You start to fall in love with it. You pull it with the power of love. I see it so many times, so many people trying to make things work, make the strategy work, make their launch successful, make this successful, make it happen. but they're fighting against themselves. They're conscious and their subconscious, which controls them 98%, they're fighting against each other, which is not helping. You are using your success mechanism, and I'm going to elaborate on that, what success mechanism is, but you are using your success mechanism against you, which is not serving you. Because your conscious is the thing that sets the direction, your subconscious is that implements the direction. But your subconscious is going somewhere else and the conscious wants to take it somewhere else. They're both working against each other. That's why there is a constant feeling of stuck. I move and I stop. I move and I stop. I see that, but I don't know. I feel like I'm almost there, but I'm not there. Why? Because they're against each other. There's a conflict there. What we realize is that you are uncovering your truth and you're saying, why not? Why not? What is my truth? You are reevaluating that thing over and over again. And if you reevaluate anything over a period of time, you are going to change your belief. But you need reevaluation. You cannot just force your mind. It's like your mind is like a factory machine, right? You provide the raw material, it gives you the output. Now you keep giving it out input, like raw material, and you expect a different output. It cannot produce anything different than what's being implanted. What input are you giving? And you have to question that. You have to question everything. That's why if you question most of your beliefs and really analyze them and question them, you would laugh on most of them because they're funny. They don't even make sense. When I started doing that, I was told that if somebody's laughing a lot, they will have to cry. Why? So you cannot be happy because you will be sad. If you're laughing more, you will have to cry more. I would see like adults in my family saying, don't make the child laugh a lot because then they're going to cry. And you would think, doesn't make any sense. Oh, if you are going chasing money, then you would have problem in your relationship. There is no connection. It's like saying if you drink water, you cannot do other, like you can do everything. What is the difference? Right? If you question most of the truth that we feel the truth is, you're gonna laugh and think this doesn't even make sense. Why on earth was I believing that? Right? And you start to question things. Without questioning what you are told, you cannot implant a different reality because it controls you 98% of the time. Then what I do is when I question and dig deeper until I have the breakthrough, until you have this thing that I feel the shift. Because you will have the shift at a logical level. Remember, you will have to shift. It makes sense. Like if somebody gives you enough data, you're like, oh, that makes sense. But you haven't had the shift at an emotional level yet. And I'm going to help you how to do that. But once you have the shift at a logical level, what you do is now you use your most beautiful thing, your imagination. And you ask yourself, let me go to the place where there is unlimited amount of money. Let me go to the place where I am actually receiving those clients. I'm receiving those, they love paying me. I help them giving the results. They are saying this is the greatest investment of my life. They are so happy that my business, they are constantly bringing their friends and family and other people and random people. And my marketing, I'm nailing in my marketing and my sales, and it's so good and it's perfect. Now, how do I feel about money? And now all of a sudden I feel that in my body. I'm feeling that. I'm getting at that conscious awareness. You are now looking at the view from 100th floor instead of ground floor, instead of 50th floor, instead of 20th floor. You are increasing your awareness. You're increasing where you are in your consciousness. You're looking at a more elevated perspective of life. And then you ask yourself, now what do I believe about money? It's infinite. And I said to myself, what if we tap into the consciousness where there is so much money that is not even about money anymore? It's just given. It's not even a question. Like, we don't even discuss about that, not because we don't like it, but because we just know it's always there. Like it will be there. It will always be there. It's always there. We don't talk about oxygen a lot, right? Because we know it's going to be there. We know when we're going to wake up in the morning, we can breathe, we can do deep breaths, we can breathe as much as we want, we can inhale, we can exhale, whatever. What if money becomes the same way? And when I go in that conscious awareness, I realize I start getting ideas. I start getting inspired hits because the answer is on that frequency. How do you implant the new awareness? You use your imagination and you teleport yourself into the reality which is outside of 0.0035. And you start to come from that place now. You keep going there and you keep coming back. You keep coming back from that place. Say, oh, how would I feel? How would I think? How would I talk? How would I say? That is your workshop, like Napoleon Hill said. That's where you design things. That's where you design life. That's where you create things. That's where you formulate things. And then you start operating from that place. Then you start bringing that into the now and realizing whatever is in your imagination is your truth without changing at a conscious level your truth, and at an emotional level. All you're doing is you're fighting against your subconscious. But when you start coming from that place, all of a sudden your thinking is different. You're thinking completely, it's like you're looking at the world from a different conscious awareness. You're not looking at from 20th or 30th or 40th or 50th floor. You're looking at from 100th floor. And you're looking at the world from the conscious awareness, that place, that knowing, that understanding, that kind of wisdom and enlightenment, where the answers are different, where the thinking is different, where the feeling is different, where it's peaceful, where there is knowing, where there is faith, where there is conviction, where there is ease, where there is flow, where there is no limitations, because the limitations are in the lower floors. They're not there anymore. Where there is serenity and calmness, where there are all the answers available. But then my clients ask me this question often: how do I stay there? I get that. I see that. I feel that. How do I stay there? How do I stay there often enough? And then I have two answers to that, which I'm going to share with you because it's really powerful. First is you stay there by really uncovering your truth. The more you're going to dismantle the lie, the more you're going to stay on the truth by default. The more the truth will become your default state of being. Because now you're stepping in the truth. You're not stepping into act as if, just be like that, just try that, just pretend. You're stepping into the truth. The more you step into the truth, the more you accept the truth, the more you stay on the truth, and the more you use the emotional power, the love, and the activation from the out. Even you can use the outside to activate that. You can use your external things to activate that. You can keep going there consciously. You can keep taking yourself there. That becomes your default. The more you keep going there, in the beginning it seems a bit janky. Oh my God, what am I doing? That feels so weird. Then you start to feel like, yeah, that is possible. That is true. And then a point comes where you fuse with it. A point comes where you're like, this is me. This is normal. This is expected anyway. What is normal for you now, maybe 10 years ago, 5 years ago, wasn't normal, was a very big deal. Maybe there was a point in your life where you couldn't just go out and eat whatever you want. Maybe there was a point where you couldn't imagine living in the home we are living right now. But it became normal in many years. But the way you can quantum leap and collapse time, you can start normalizing those things now. Because we are constantly growing anyways. Even if you're not quantum leaping, you're growing. There was a point where you couldn't talk. There was a point where you couldn't tie your shoelaces, but you grow into that gradually. Now what we're talking about is cutting the timelines in the middle, not considering gradual moves, and going to the end and normalizing the end now mentally. And when you normalize the end now, it starts to become normal. But one thing which is really, really important is you start taking action at the same time. And if you are not taking action at the same time, there is some problem in the identity work, because the idea of being is not just at a thinking and feeling level, but also at behaving level. And if you are that person, why you're not being that person? Why you're not doing those things? Why you're not being that? And this is where most people say, until I have unwavering faith, I'm not going to do anything. But the key is you won't have the unwavering faith until you start taking action. Because what happens is when you take action, you start achieving. Let's say you want to have a multi-million-dollar business. But when you take action, you have first client, right? At your current conscious awareness, you're a match for the first client. You have the first client. Now, the idea that who's going to ever work with me or who's going to ever buy my service or product or my whatever, now that has broken down because you already have the proof. Now it's easier to go to climb on a higher conscious awareness because you have already broken one thing. If you wait until you have the multi-million-dollar consciousness and not even take the actions at the same time, you won't build on it. The way it works is you jump in the end, you feel, you move. And based on you move, you see the result and it tells you where your consciousness is right now. It's just a feedback. It's not your reality. It's not something that's the ultimate thing. It's just your feedback, right? It's your feedback. It shows you how far you have jumped. Now, the other thing which is a huge breakthrough for me is realizing that we think, I need this. I need the knowledge. I need this thing before I can have it. I need to figure out everything. Anything that you think you need to get there is a limitation, because there are people who think they can and there are people who think they can't, and they both are right in their own ways. The key is, what are you conscious of being? What is right for you? Because if you think that I need this first, I need to be really good at that, you're just getting in your own way. You mentally go there now and see outside of as the feedback, and you do work on yourself, you do polish your skills, you do all those things, but you don't tangle anything to the end. You see yourself there now. A lot of times I see this, when I have more followers, when I'm good at that, when I have this much, no. Oh, the people who have done that are so clever and smart. They've figured it out. They're so intelligent. No. They just did it. They're normal people. They're common people. They have nothing different. In fact, when you look at them, because I've come across recently a lot of billionaires and multi-millionaires, you think, is that it? Is that it? The only difference is they think they could. What if you think you could? What if you don't need the proofs and guarantees and all of that? Because you're okay with trusting. You're okay. You're fine. You're fine right now. That's not something you need. You would love to have that. This is really powerful when you start to understand that. And you start to understand that there is no difference. There is no difference between you and anybody that has done anything. There's no difference. We put those people on pedestal. We think they're clever. We think, oh my God, they've figured it out. No, not at all. Thomas Stewart, who was one of the greatest teachers of the mental science, he said this thing which is so powerful, and I use it so often, even in my script, in my day-to-day life. My mind is the center of divine operations. My mind is the center of divine operations. And divine operations are always there for expansion and for expression. What is really happening is that God or Source is looking for fuller expression through you. And therefore you have to trust that it's divine. Like, you have a spiritual being, the God-like side of you, that is waiting to express in the physical. And that the only thing that it requires is your intellectual mind, which is basically when you get in your way or you allow yourself to conceive it. The only difference between you and those people is they have conceived it. They have allowed themselves to conceive it by falling in love with it, by going there, by challenging, by questioning the truth, by saying, why not? According to who? What if I could? Right? And when you start doing that, you realize that it's just the intellectual mind. Once that conceives, it comes in the physical by law. There is no other way. Because your mind is the center of divine operation. And divine operations doesn't even mean, what if I'm not good enough? It's divine operation. You're just a vessel. You're not managing the supply of water in the vessel. Like, you're not managing what goes through the vessel. You're just a vessel. Make yourself available. Be clear. Be a clear channel. That's your job. And the divine operations will take care of good enough once you do your part of being available. The question is, how high can you think? How high can you go? And this is my latest discovery in a way in the space of manifestation. Stumbled on this very coincidentally. initially I used to say to my clients is that you can set money frequencies and you can keep climbing them up, but the thing that I found now, which is insane, is that you can go to the highest level of vision as well while you're manifesting a specific money frequency. And as you start to really connect with that vision, you can collapse timeline even more. If you are shown the highest vision in your manifestation, in your meditations, or when you're when you're feeling really good, or when you're already in a very high like vibe, you feel that, allow yourself to go there, see it. Don't ever say no, this is too big. If you are seeing that, it's not coming from just you, it's coming from the source. So allow yourself to go as big and as wild as you can go, because it's all here. And you can only see 0.0035%. Trust in what you're seeing. Trust that this is not random, crazy fantasy. It's truth. You cannot tap into anything until it existed.